Hello, friends. The little thing says that we are live.
We're live.
I think some of you know us. Some of you might not.
I think everybody here knows us.
My name is Matthew Swanson.
My name is Robbi Bear.
And we are here today, presuming to interrupt your lovely afternoons because we make books and other stuff together. I'm a writer.
I'm an illustrator.
I am not an illustrator.
I just want to say.
What?
I'm super excited. You're acting like this is all business. This is our first...
I would like to point out that I had prepared an agenda. Everyone knows that when you're having a business meeting, as this is, of course, because this is a work day, you need to have an agenda to keep things organized.
The only reason we have an agenda is because Matthew knows that I am impossible to keep on track.
I think we need some order. And the first order of business is, what does it say?
Introductions, we did that.
We already did that, which is perfect.
That's why you were already doing it.
Are you guys ready to move on to the next order of business? I haven't shared the agenda with Robbi, so she doesn't know that item 2 is...
Oh, Jamie says I love you.
Oh, Robbi does jumping jacks.
Wait!
Yeah. Robbi needs to keep herself fit while school is out.
I haven't done jumping jacks.
So, okay. So Robbie's going to do some jumping jacks.
Everybody join in. How many should we do?
I don't know how many. Everybody get up. Get up. You need to get some exercise.
And do
Doesn't say Matthew does jumping jacks. On your marks, get set, do them. Go.
1, 2, 3. It's a little jiggy because I have a messed up shoulder.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of room in here.
I don't want to elbow Matthew in the head.
Robbi, you have already fulfilled the wishes of the agenda. Okay, so we've learned a couple of things here.
That was a terrible agenda item.
One is, given her druthers, which means given her preference, Robbi will be a wild and roaming free radical with no discipline or order. So that's why we need the agenda. And Robbi will do what the agenda says if the agenda is clear. Let's see what item 3 says on the agenda.
Reading of the book.
Reading of the book. So,
do that.
Okay, you guys, we have some books. We've created some books. In fact, we have created 85 books for you. Many of them are not appropriate for you because they were written for adults. But some of them were.
A handful of them
and today,
are okay for us
we are going to share with you a book called The Girl with Frogs in Her Ears.
I'm going to interrupt this agenda item.
Oh, wait.
Note that Elizabeth Prophet has asked for Matthew to add a song to the daily agenda.
Okay. Obviously, I can't add a song to this daily agenda, Elizabeth Prophet, because it is already set in stone. It is sacrosanct. It is no longer malleable. However, I will... No, Robbi Bear, you may not. I will add it to tomorrow's agenda. I will take requests moving forward because, you guys, we're going to do this every day. And by every day, I mean every day, the weekends included, because every day we are hanging out with our kids and we need something to do. So... every day for now. We may at some point...
We're not hanging out with our kids right now.
No, but we might bring them in later. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Okay, so we're going to read this book to you.
Yes.
It is called The Girl with Frogs in Her Ears. It's a book that we made a long time ago, and we want to share with you today. So if you guys have questions... should I be looking for questions? If you have questions... Oh, Jamie says, I love you. That's my little nephew, Jamie. Hi, Jamie. I love you too, buddy. I wish I could... I'm going to give you a virtual hug. A good virtual hug. All right. Let's do this. All right?
All right.
Oh, hi, Susie. Hi. Nice to see you, Susie.
I have to switch this up a little bit.
Okay. All right.
There we go.
All right. That is the cover of the book in question.
Oops.
Did you skip the title page?
Ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay. This book... Oh, we didn't dedicate this book. To heck with whoever this book should have been for.
It shouldn't have been for
anyone. The Girl with the Frogs in Her Ears.
Matthew.
There's no extra the.
The proper title of the book is...
Robbi,
I'm not very good at this reading aloud business.
Okay, I'm going to try, guys. I'm going to do my best. All right, here we go. Little Vera. Oh, we got to wait till Robbi changes to the first page.
There we go. Sorry, I pushed the wrong button.
Little Vera was an only child. Long ago, she'd had a brother and a sister, but they had been missing for 3 years, and Vera had almost forgotten about them. Ooh, that's a little dark.
It's a little dark.
Vera had frogs in her ears, so she couldn't hear when her mother told her to make her bed. I beg your pardon? Vera would say. I said, make your bed, her mother would say. But since Vera had frogs in her ears, instead of making her bed, she went to the river and threw pebbles at the barges floating by. When Vera got hungry, she went home and sat down at the table for lunch. But because she had frogs in her ears, she didn't hear when her mother told her to wash her hands. Just for a second here, you guys. When your parents tell you to wash your hands, wash them. Wash them. Gotta wash the hands. You don't have frogs in your ears, I hope. Anyway, back to the...
Even if you do, wash your hands.
Wash them. Back to the story. I beg your pardon, said Vera. I said wash your hands, said her mother. But because she had frogs in her ears, Vera ate her onion sandwich, potato chips, and dill pickle with dirty hands. Not good. Not good, you guys.
Bad.
All right?
Bad.
After she finished her lunch, Vera walked to the center of town, where a bunch of people were gathered around the mayor. He was saying something, but because Vera had frogs in her ears, she didn't know what it was. Suddenly, the mayor looked right at Vera and asked her a question. I beg your pardon? Said Vera. I said we are looking for someone to go conquer the big-headed ogre of Eggplant Mountain using only a toothbrush and a bent playing card. Are you willing to do it? But, oh, no. Because Vera had frogs in her ears, she couldn't hear the mayor. But since he seemed so nice and important, she nodded anyway. The mayor clapped his hands with delight, and all the townspeople cheered, which made Vera very happy. But she didn't know what was happening when the mayor handed her a toothbrush and a bent playing card. And she had no idea what was going on when he drove her in his Jeep to the top of Eggplant Mountain. And she had absolutely no idea what the mayor was saying as he pointed anxiously at something right behind her. I beg your pardon, said Vera. But the mayor got back into his Jeep and drove away as quickly as he could. Vera turned around and looked. There was an ogre with a gigantic head and 7 tiny arms. Vera and the ogre looked at one another. Neither one knew what to do. Vera wanted to talk to the ogre, but since she had eaten onions for lunch, she decided to brush her teeth first.
Also a good tip, if you have onions for lunch, it's nice to freshen your breath a little bit.
Right. Wash your hands and wash your mouth. Yeah.
Wash your mouth.
All right.
There you go.
Once her teeth were fresh and minty, Vera went over to the ogre and shook each one of his 7 hands. The ogre was so pleased with Vera's fine manners and minty breath that he taught her how to play a game called Simple Jim, which required balancing a bent playing card on the bridge of one's nose. Vera and the ogre played Simple Jim for 3 weeks straight and became best friends. You're my best friend, said Vera. I beg your pardon, said the ogre. But Vera couldn't hear what he was saying. You know why. You know what's in her ears. I beg your pardon, said Vera. They went back and forth like that for a long time. I beg your pardon. 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 Eventually, Vera realized that the only way to let the ogre know how much she liked him was to give him a really big hug. Vera hugged the ogre so hard that something popped out of his ears. It was Vera's brother and sister. Oh my goodness. Hi, guys, said Vera, reaching out to give them a hug. But they ran screaming down the mountain without even saying hello. You understand the situation they've been in. Bye, guys, said Vera. Suddenly, the ogre could hear the birds in the trees and the wind in the leaves and the gurgling of nearby streams. It was the happiest he had been in 3 years. Look how happy he is. He's so friendly. The ogre was so happy that he gave Vera an enormous hug. When he did, the frogs popped right out of Vera's ears and hopped away. Boy. Now, Vera and the ogre could hear each other, which made them even better friends than they were before. You're the best. No, you're the best. No, you're the best. No, you're the best. No, you're the best. Vera and the ogre decided to go down the mountain so that Vera could say hi to her brother and sister. But as soon as they walked into the town, everyone screamed and shrieked and shouted. It was so loud that Vera and the ogre had to put things back into their ears, which is how they preferred it anyway. The end. All right, that is the girl with the frogs in her ears. Robbi, let's see what is next on the agenda, because I think that will direct our next course of... Oh, here we go. So we read the book. Now, Moral of the story.
Sorry.
Now, I've got to tell you something, you guys. I don't think about the moral of the story when I write a story. I don't think about anything.
Apparently.
I just write the story, and then I give it to Robbi, and if Robbi likes it, I breathe a sigh of relief, and if Robbi doesn't like it, I go write another story, because Robbi is always right. That is what the mantra around here. What were you going to say, Robbi?
I was going to say, there are some questionable things that happen in this story.
What do you mean, Robbi?
Well, the siblings were stuffed in the ears.
I mean, that's not great.
We have very little concern for them. They just run off.
Well,
we don't even care where they went.
I bet they went to get something to eat, because I would be hungry after spending 3 years in an ogre's ear canal.
That would
all right?
be so gross.
Yeah, absolutely. But also, don't stuff mayors in your ear.
Yeah.
That's what the ogre does at the end. We're not modeling that as
No,
good
we
behavior.
like our mayor.
We
have
do.
a very good mayor.
Our mayor, Chris Serino, is doing a great job. Thank you, Chris Serino. 3 cheers, or maybe 4 to Chris Serino. So, is there a moral to this story, Robbi? I think the moral is pay attention when people are talking to you so that you communicate with them.
I think it's the opposite moral.
What is
this is a questionable moral.
Oh, tell me.
It's don't listen to people you don't want to listen to. Stuff your ears and go back on the mountain, and don't worry about the mob.
I don't think that the parents want us to espouse that as the moral.
In retrospect, I feel like this has maybe got some questionable morals.
When the siblings and the amphibians leave your ears, and you can hear the mountain stream and the beautiful birds chirping and talk to your friends, that is the ideal state. All right? When you can really hear and communicate with each other. Let's go with that, Robbi. Let's go with that moral. All right, here we go.
Is that they stuff things back in their ears so they
we
can't
don't
hear
always.
each other.
We don't always. Anyway, let's see what's next. Simple Jim explanation. We breezed right past the fact that the ogre and Vera play a game called Simple Jim.
Now,
we were not satisfied with it just being mentioned.
Hold on.
Yes.
This is what happens when you have to illustrate a book from Matthew.
Right.
Matthew wrote the manuscript.
Yes. Manuscript is just the pile of words that
just
make
the
up a
words
book.
that you
Right.
read.
Okay.
And he handed it off to me. I said, "Great, I'm going to illustrate this. We're going to do this." And then I was like, "Okay, well, just tell me what's the game, Simple Jim. Can you tell me how it works?" And he said,
I don't know.
I just made it up.
I just liked how it sounded.
And I
gave you all the information I have, Robbi.
Which was, you need to play with a bent playing card.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know how to show this. We're going to have to make up a game called Simple Jim and figure out the rules.
Because, you guys, in the back of this is a self-published book that we published as part of our small press Bobbledy books. And in the back of every Bobbledy book, there is some sort of tutorial that teaches you how to do something. So, how to play Simple Jim. I wanted to give them some context for where this appears in the wild.
Look, Perry says Matthew has a really good ogre voice.
Who is Perry? Thank you, Perry. Thank you for sharing that information with me.
Yes.
All right. If anybody else has anything they'd like to share while Robbi is looking, let's see.
Here we go. I'm going to switch. Okay.
All right.
The end. I didn't play the end slide. Sorry.
Oh, well, now you know. Okay, so how to play Simple Jim.
Rules
Guys,
how to play Simple Jim.
we're going to teach you how to play Simple Jim. Then we are going to bring in some hired actors,
special demonstrators.
some stunt doubles. Okay. Find a friend. Step 1, find a friend.
Yeah.
If you are all by yourself in your house,
Don't find a
your
friend.
parents are not doing a good job. All right. 2, find a playing card. It doesn't matter which one, so pick your favorite. However,
it does matter which one.
the next step is bend the playing card in half. I'm going to show you. Robbi, here's an unbent playing card. Don't bend it.
I'm not going to bend it.
I already pre-bent a playing card.
Yes.
Okay? Because ask a grown-up if it's okay first to bend the playing card. Grown-ups hate bent playing cards.
Let me tell you, if you have an Uno deck, don't bend the wild card because...
because that totally messes up the fun.
Everybody knows what the wild card is
All right,
then.
so I'm in trouble with my kids. I'm a parent
You're in trouble with your wife.
who bent the card. I was supposed to ask a parent. Instead, I asked this parent. I asked this one and not that one.
Ask the right parent.
Ask the right parent. All right, step 4. Stand face to face with your right foot touching your friend's right foot. We're going to show you how this works pretty soon. Step 5. Balance the card on the forehead, on your forehead in the bridge of your nose. Robbie's going to demonstrate this. No, Robbi. No, Robbi doesn't know how to play Simple Jim. Yes. There you go. Look at that elegance, poise, grace, balance.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
I have a nose built for this. My
You
nose
do.
is
You
very
do.
wee and it's a little upturned.
Robbie
if
has
you
an-
have a larger nose, it's a little harder.
Unfair Simple Jim advantage. 6. Have your friend reach out his hand or her hand. Step 7. Try to hit your friend's hand with your hand.
Sorry, I have to get to step 7. Whoop, whoop. There we go.
Yeah. Step
Sorry.
8. If you hit your friend's hand without the card falling off your nose, you get a point. Step 9, if you don't hit your friend's hand, or if the card falls off your nose, you don't get a point and it's your friend's turn. Step 10, switch and see if your friend can hit your hand without the card falling off. Here, you read this part while I get the actors. Okay.
Okay, but you have a question to answer when we get back. So
Okay.
there are no rules for how long you play or how many points you need to win. You just make that up.
All right,
You don't even need to keep track of points, which we never do. So generally, most people win at Simple Gym because it's so fun. We are
Okay.
bringing on our demonstrators.
We have Benicio Del Toro and Brad Pitt here,
Yes.
who don't have anything to do right now, and so they were willing to help us. Come over here, Benicio.
That's Benicio,
all right.
and this is Brad Pitt.
All right, so you guys, one thing I forgot to tell you when we were practicing earlier, you have to touch your toes to each other. So
Yeah.
put that foot forward.
The other
and
thing
that
is,
foot
I
forward.
have to get
Here
out
we
of the
go.
way. I'm gonna get out of the way.
Okay. All right, so we have
Oh, wait,
our
wait.
two A-list Hollywood
Hold
actors.
on, I
What-
forgot to turn them. There
Okay.
we go.
All right. So, who is going to go first, Benicio
Me.
or Brad? All right.
I guess Benicio.
All right, Benicio. Please place the card on the bridge of your nose as such.
Kaito
Okay.
also has a nose like his mother.
Oh, you guys are really lucky to be genetically related to Robbi. Okay, now, August, no, you put your hand down. August is going to place his hand strategically somewhere. Because of the position of Kato's head, he can't see where Augie's hand is, so he has to kind of guess. So Kato is going to try to hit Augie's hand without knocking the card off his face. Can he do it? Do you think so? I wish
Yes,
we could.
yes,
yes.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Simple Jim. Simple Jim.
Simple
All
Jim.
right, Kato, go for it. Oh, he didn't hit it and the card fell off. It was a double insult.
all right.
August, are you ready?
You're up, bud.
Okay, here we go. We're going to try this now. Now remember, again, that is backward placement of the card. Yes, okay.
Well, I think it doesn't matter how you place it.
In
Did
your
not
illustration,
it did not designate in the rules which
this is the
direction.
right way to do it. Okay.
Ready.
So, Kato has his hand out. August, do your best. Oh, he would have gotten a point if he'd managed. It's very hard to hold your head still and upright and guess and hit at the same time, but you guys can do it. It's called Simple Jim, but it's really quite complex.
Well, somebody asked.
It's
and
not
I can't
Simple Jim.
remember.
Oh,
I think Lily asked, why is it called Simple Jim?
It is called Simple Jim because in the vast recesses of Matthew's small mind,
Small.
things happen that he cannot explain. Simple Jim sounded like a fun name for a card game that I didn't want to have to explain, and so I wrote it down, and no one ever questioned me.
Until I had to illustrate it. And I had to figure out what Simple Jim was.
Here's the thing. Some of you guys know our books like Everywhere Wonder and Babies and Everything and The Real McCoys, which we make with a magnificent person named Aaron Stein at a company called Macmillan.
And Natalie Souza also, who is also on I think she's in the
Is she
comments.
here? Hi, Natalie. Thanks for joining us. The point is, those people give us feedback and ideas. When we were self-publishing, we were utterly unhinged.
We got to just name things what we wanted to
And
name
we
them.
could
and
create
just
stories with
made stuff up.
questionable morals. So apologies to you. Aaron would have shot that questionable moral. At least she would have questioned it. She would have...
She has not published this.
So,
book,
guys,
and
thank
there's
you
a
for the
reason it.
demonstration.
Can you say goodbye to everyone and take a bow, Benicio?
Guys, go
there
polish
we
go polish your Oscars and get
Yes.
ready for Ocean's 12 or
Benicio
27.
out.
All right, Benicio out. Oh, I love it.
Thank you, guys.
Boy, are we lucky that those guys are taking a pause from whatever they're making right now. Yeah.
They've been very busy making famous town movies.
Do we have some other questions? Do we have? Let us please consult the agenda, upon which all order relies. Okay.
I have some support in the Don't Bend the Wild card. Family.
Yeah, you people, I think you just need to ask the right parent. All right, so Simple Jim explanation. Robbi loses at Simple Jim. Oh, you know what? When I wrote the agenda, I didn't realize that Brad Benicio would be available. So I figured that I would be playing her, and then the inevitable conclusion would be a loss by
I'm
Robbi.
pretty sure that if we played, I would win.
And you are allowed to believe that, since
We
we're
might
not going
have
to do
to have a
proof of
challenge.
concept.
If people would like a challenge at some other date,
Yeah.
a Simple Jim challenge, we will do that.
It is going to be
I
interesting to
kind of
see.
feel like since you've already seen Simple Jim,
We'll see. Here's the thing, you guys. Even though we've created 84 books, not all of them are fit for story time. And at a certain
Yes.
point, we'll run out of
We're gonna
books. We'll have
run
to
out
start
of
over
books.
again.
Yeah.
So there might be a Simple Jim reprise
Yes.
at some point in the future. Okay, here we go. Questions from readers.
Oh,
Okay.
well,
Do you guys
we've
have
been
questions for us?
taking some questions.
Either about the girl with frogs in her ears or about really anything. We're happy to consider any question. Do we have anything there? Come on, we need some hard-hitting questions from you guys. Where are your brains wandering right now? If you would like to comment on the...
Oh,
What?
some
What
of
do we
the
have?
Foot School 4th grade class is here.
Excellent.
Hello,
Hello,
everyone.
Foot School friends. Here's one of the things that's a little disappointing, you guys. We've been doing school visits throughout the fall, all throughout the fall and in the first part of the spring and winter, but our next ones were canceled. So we're disappointed. There's a bunch of friends we were going to meet that we won't get a chance to until later. But
Yes.
the Foot School we visited in the fall, and we love you guys. We had so much fun with you. Let's see.
Yay!
Okay, we have a request for a 10 p.m. adult story time. Michael,
Yes.
we might take you up
I was
on
gonna
that.
say, we have all those idiots
what the
supposed
heck?
to
Why
do.
not?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll see where this thing takes us. We love spending time with you guys. If there are no questions at the moment,
I know. We have to move on.
Principal Enders, one of my personal heroes, for his growth mindset, outlook, and approach to administration and everything else. When we pulled up to our school visit at Wrightsville Elementary School, we were eating our fast food breakfast sandwiches, and Principal Enders was hiding inside with a microphone, and over the outdoor loudspeakers, he welcomed us. And then also commented on our breakfast choice. I didn't know we were being watched yet.
Yeah.
And then all of the fourth graders waved at us through the...
I think it was the fifth graders.
Maybe it was the fifth graders through the library windows.
Yeah.
And that set the tone for a remarkable day at Wrightsville Elementary School. Okay, so, all right, here we go. Simple Jim explanation. Robbi loses Simple Jim. Questions from our readers. That's it. That is all we have planned. I think Robbi is disappointed.
I am disappointed.
Oh.
You presented that agenda like you knew what was on it.
All right.
And then you went through it, and that was very deflating. It was
Robbi,
deflating.
deflating Robbi was the hidden item. Excuse me. Hold on a second. Robbi, riff for a second.
Well, I wonder. I'm glad this agenda is not over. That's what I'm happy about, because that was, kind of left us hanging at the end there. There was no closure to that agenda. So those of you who are going to be doing meetings in the future, make sure that there's a closing point that makes everyone feel better at the end.
Matthew lets Robbi down. That's another way of saying he disappoints her. And that's a great note to end
That's
on.
constant
So-
on our life agenda.
Guys, what we're going to try to do,
Yes.
Oh, that's not true. Robbi
I know. I love
absolutely
Matthew. He's the best.
adores...
Oh, here's a question.
Oh, what?
Why did you choose for Vera to have frogs stuck in her ears instead of a different animal?
Well, friends, I would like to refer you back to the previous answer about the naming of Simple Jim, the origin of the idea, and the echo chamber in which the ideas emerge. I don't know, you guys. I think I just liked the way the girl with frogs in her ears sounded. I didn't subject it to any sort of anatomical analysis of whether said frog would fit within the narrowness of the ear canal. I mean, really, it should have been with worms in her ears, because that would fit, but nobody wants worms in her ears.
Frogs are bad already.
Frogs are bad already, but frogs are kind of cute.
Frogs are cute, but they're also not like mammals. Somehow it seems less bad to have a frog in your ear than to have like a rat.
Michael David Thomas would like to suggest pangolins.
Oh, that would be horrible.
A little scratchy, right? Yeah. One thing
I feel like a frog would slip right in.
One thing I would like to say about the writing process, because if you guys have some time on your hands, if you're not in school right now, you guys can write stories. If you
are in school right now, you can write stories.
Okay, but you have all day, perhaps, to write stories. I want to point out that when we decided to start Bobbledy Books, which is the company that published this book...
And somebody asked about self-publishing.
Okay, so you guys are authors, whether you know it or not. And you guys get to decide whether you're authors. Nobody can tell you whether or not you're an author. If you write a story, you are an author.
And you guys are already authors. I know you've written stories already.
If you illustrate a story, you are...
An illustrator.
An illustrator.
Yeah.
So you guys get to decide.
Yeah.
You have lots of time right now. When we decided that we wanted to start self-publishing children's books, I'd written one children's book, My Henderson Robot.
Which we read yesterday.
But we'll read to you again, because yesterday was an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah.
The technology did not love us yesterday. I said, over the next 100 days, I'm going to write 100 children's books. I'm just going to write them fast. I'm not going to judge them. I'm just going to write them. Some of them will be good. Some of them will be bad. Maybe all of them will be bad. But the point is, some of them were not bad. Or some of them were less bad than others.
Yeah.
The Girl with Frogs in Her Ears was one of the ones I wrote in the first 10 days of my 100 Days of Children's Books projects. And a lot of the Bobbledy Books, in fact, came out of that experiment. So if you guys want to, you can do something similar to that. And it can be something like, every single day I'm going to write a chapter of my book, or I'm going to write a panel of my comic, or I'm going to write a page of my book. You guys figure out what you want to do. The point is, you can do it. Nobody can tell you you're not an author or an illustrator.
Yes.
That is the moral of today's podcast. Is this a podcast? Is this a vlog? What is this?
Yeah, we don't know
what is this called? I'm having a crisis of
I think it doesn't matter
nomenclature.
What we call it. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Do we have any?
We have lots of questions all of a sudden.
Oh, okay, please.
Why does the ogre have 7 arms? Again, Matthew doesn't know the answers to these questions.
Symmetry is comforting, and we wanted something unnerving.
Yes.
So we wanted to make it an odd number.
That was good.
I made that up on the spot.
Jackie wants to know, why did the mayor use a toothbrush?
We wanted some objects that seemed very unlikely to be effective in ogre fighting at the outset that we could then artfully justify later on. So the point is, what The mayor said it would be a weapon to use in fighting the mayor.
Or suggested as
But in fact, Vera used it to freshen up her breath so that when she gave the ogre a hug, it could be a more pleasant experience for all involved. So sometimes the fight that you think you have to have is actually just an act of artful reconciliation with those around you.
That was a lot more complicated than we thought.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Oh. Okay. Well, good.
What else do we have? You said there were a lot of questions. Did you exaggerate the number of questions?
Well, there were a lot. Why did they put frogs and not in there?
I have the Real McCoy's book
your
next to
favorite
me
book?
and ready to follow along. Okay.
Yes.
I thank you, Grayson, for that artful segue. All right, guys, what we're going to do pretty much any minute now is say goodbye to this moment of togetherness.
Which is not on the agenda.
Oh, I didn't have sort of like a fist bump of farewell, which we'll do anyway. Fist bump of farewell, guys. Boom, 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 boom. So we're going to end this, but there is more delight to come.
We're going to do the Real McCoys next. Yeah. So this is going to close out. Then you're going to have
Don't cry.
Don't cry.
Don't let your heart flutter.
Let your heart flutter.
Okay,
Fluttering's good.
Go, flutter.
Yeah,
flutter away. Yeah.
But then click onto the next link. We're going to figure out a better way to do this.
We're doing great, Robbi. We're doing great.
There's you can put a link down there. Don't they say that on YouTube all the time?
Click
the link down there. We don't know if there's a link down there yet.
This book might seem fat and daunting to those of you in kindergarten or first grade, but let me tell you, this content is accessible.
Got so many
to all.
Pictures.
Lots of pictures. We're going to do a Real McCoy's Read Aloud. Yeah. There are 3 books in the Real McCoy series over the next many days.
We've got plenty of time.
We're going to read them all to you. So the point is, if you've enjoyed this nonsense, stick around. Click on the other link. We're going to read the beginning of this book. We have another agenda.
Oh.
We do, yeah. And that one I think is better because it was the second agenda I developed. But it's time for us to say goodbye for today.
Oh,
if you liked this... Oh.
That's a banjo back there.
It's a banjo. I don't play it.
No,
I like,
it just hangs there nicely.
I like being the kind of person who has a banjo on the wall. I actually own 3 banjos.
Oh,
don't play any of them.
Yeah.
But guys, if you've enjoyed this, tell your friends. We're going to post this video on our YouTube page as soon as we're done, and then you can share it with people. We would like to have this classroom be... Classroom? It's not a classroom.
It's our studio.
It is a gathering of friends.
Yes.
And a...
Classroom should be.
There you go. I'm going to give you a fist bump of farewell, and we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys on the other stream in just a minute.
Yes, in a minute.
Goodbye. Okay. Thanks for joining.